Stephen A. Williams, president and founder of the creditrepairshop.com, and in today's video, we're going to talk about debt collections, judgments, which ultimately started debt collection. Judgments can come back to hurt you. They can come back to bite you in the butt. Usually, when we have clients come to us, it just seems to hit them at the wrong time. Imagine if you're trying to go and buy that home for you and your family. You're envisioning yourself on the patio or the front porch, sitting back, watching the cars go by, or if you're in the backyard, watching your children play. Maybe you got a swimming pool, whatever, they're playing with the water hose. It's your house, no landlord, none of that stuff, no worries. You can paint the trim purple, whatever you want. You don't got to ask anybody's permission. And then when you try to close and you try to get a loan on the home, all of a sudden they're saying you have a judgment against you from a debt collector that you didn't care about because the debt was charged off and you didn't show up to court, and you said it don't matter. You done saw stuff on YouTube and the people said don't pay that collection. They said don't worry about those judgments. It's going to drop off. But they didn't ask you because you said, hey, I don't want to wait for the 20-year statute of limitations for the judgment to drop off. I want my house right now. This is the stuff that we go through, these life lessons, and I'm not even preaching because I went through this before. And when I went through it, it cost me $42,000 to get out of my situation. And I don't want you to go through that situation. I don't want you to go through it. I want you to be able to enjoy life. I want you to be able to, if you're looking to get in that house, because the house is going to be one of your first. If you don't have a business and you've never done anything other than just work for a company, your home is going to be ultimately your biggest investment. I don't care what anybody says, housing crash, economy crash, all that BS. Don't believe them. These are people who all they do is just, they have no life experience. I'm here to tell you that I bought my house at the top in the house that I just sold last year. Bought it, and all of those dreams, if my credit was messed up and I did not get stuff resolved, we would not be able to have bought that new build house. My three daughters comfortably in there, my wife comfortably in there, our house, no landlord, no nothing, nice, spacious, no one had ever lived in it, it was ours. But if you don't resolve stuff, you won't be able to get to that. I'm just here to tell you, no excuses. And so I bought my home at the top, 2 years from the top of when houses was at the top. So people would be like, you bought too high. And I said, well, you buy because of you want a good deal, but you also buy because you want comfort for your family to have what they need to have, and I'm going to take care of it. That we bought the house for $352,000. And then in 2008, the value of that house went to $240,000. Guess what I sold that house for last year? Almost 600,000. So don't fall for those traps. Don't fall for those traps. Let me tell you, you will, if you have a problem saving money, your house is your new bank. Because you will be able to sell that home. Even if you sold it for the money that you put into it, that it's like having a bank account. Some people may not even, they'd be like, Steve, you're crazy. I'm telling you, I know people, I know sports sports players, athletes who lost everything, and they would say, if I just had the money that I already had, I would be good. I didn't even need to invest in nothing. If I just had that money, had that house, to where I could sell that house for exactly what I paid for, I would be good, or even less than what I paid for it. The money I would be able to just take care of myself and my family. So I'm telling you, don't fall for this gimmick stuff. Don't fall for this gimmick stuff. Um, all right, so point of this video is that a judgment can come back to hurt you and what you can do about it. So um, recently, uh, well, I made a video maybe 6, 7 months ago. I came across a website where debt collectors were, it was like eBay. They were going on there and they were able to bid on debt. So like imagine you go to like how you go to eBay and you're like trying to, buy items and some of the stuff is auction, some of the stuff you can just buy it outright. Well, there is a website for debt collectors to be able to do this. And they're bidding on debt. So you can buy eviction debt, you can buy uh, credit card debt. Now these were just judgment. They don't even got to take you to court. All they got to do is just do what they call a foreign, not from another country, another state. They call it a foreign judgment and move it over to your state. So the judgment, say you moved and that judgment is there and whoever got the judge, they can't find you, this and that. These companies specialize in finding people and they will buy that debt and then they will make a foreign judgment over. And here's the crazy thing is that every state recognizes those foreign judgments. So there's like nothing you can add, nothing you can do. Trust me, I went through this. There is nothing that you can do when a foreign judgment is moved over, even if it was ID theft. There is absolutely nothing because they're going to say you had your opportunity. You had your opportunity, and they're going to be like this. This is their thinking. This is how the judge and the courts are thinking. They're like, you got that letter. You got that summons. Come on. Even if you didn't get the summons, you had that debt. Come on. That's how they're thinking. So if you know that that's how they're thinking, and you've been running, and then all of a sudden you got that judgment, and we know we got those judgments. We know we got those judgments. And then all of a sudden it comes back to bite you when you're really trying to get something done. And that's what I don't want to happen to you. So if you have a judgment and it's past the point of return, when I say point of return, that means that it's been years. It's been going and it's been years. So this is what you need to do. First, you need to find out if they have renewed the judgment. In every state, there's a different time frame that they have to renew it. It can go 20 years, but there's a midpoint. Sometimes it's in the middle. Like in my state, it's 10 years. If they don't do it after 10 years in one day, it's over. Like how they be doing with the boxing and the refs do like this. They be like, it's over. In my state of Wisconsin, it's 10 years. 10 years in one day. It's over. In some states, it's 5 years. Some states, it's 7 years. Some states, it's 6 years. Some states, it's 8 years. Every state makes their own rules on it. So that's the first thing that I would check if it's past the point of no return. Sometimes when I say point of no return, if you just got the judgment against you, you can ask to have it reopened. And then if you're going to have it reopened, you have to have an argument to fight. If you don't have an argument to fight, then why would you reopen it? Why wouldn't you just move to try to settle that debt? But if it's past the point of no return, you thought you was just, it was all over with, and then all of a sudden you trying to buy that house, and the underwriting department said, "What about this?" Like they're pointing at that judgment. They're like, "What about this?" Then you have to come, put together a strategy to take care of it. Depending on your personality, you might be the person to do it, or you may want to hire a company to do it. We do this for people. And when I say the personality, some people are just like they ran from the judgment. They do not have the confidence to stand up for themselves against a debt collector. And also, These debt collectors can put you in a situation where they can ask certain questions and you can answer those questions the wrong way, and they will be able to say, okay, well, forget, settlement. We're going to go ahead and we're going to garnish your bank account, because that is what they're doing now. Garnishing bank account. Everybody was worried about garnishing wages. These guys are garnishing bank accounts now. Like, they're getting a writ of garnishment. So they do the foreign judgment, writ of garnishment, wake up, bank, all money going out of the bank account. This is what is happening across the United States of America right now. So if you have a judgment out there, you want to deal with that judgment or prepare yourself to deal with it. Just because a judgment comes off your credit report does not mean that it's gone. You don't see it no more. Yeah, you look at it, my credit report, you don't see it no more. But that doesn't mean it's gone. It's just under the cover, like it's under the cover. It's in the ground, but it can spring. The roots are in the ground. It can spring a tree to come out and to grab you. So to review, we want to check if it's fresh, then you can reopen. If it's not fresh, then you need to make sure that it was renewed according to the laws in your state. If it was renewed, then we need to think about if you are of the mindset, of the personality to approach. Be careful when approaching, because they could say they want all of your financial documents. And if they ask you about your financial documents, how will you can say no, but it may not look too good. When you have someone in the middle, third party in the middle, they ask for financial documents, that company in the middle could say, well, hey, let's just try to resolve this without bringing all of that into it. And their person say, well, okay, well, this is what we want to offer if we don't have to bring all of that into it. And that offer may be what you want to do, depending on the assets and the cash that you have and the stuff that you don't want to put in jeopardy. And then you're able to get that settlement and be able to move forward, and then you move into your home and you don't do that type of stuff again. That's the solution. There is no making it a judgment disappear out of the courts. If you go to LexisNexis to get a judgment removed, it is still going to be found when they do a title search on your name. Don't worry about it. It will happen. Title search on your name is in public records. It doesn't have to be at LexisNexis. That's just where they go to dig in for credit reporting and an easy way to find data. But they will still be able to find that information even if it's not in there. And I don't, people might say, well, I'm in the underwriting department. There's stuff that they don't tell you. There were lenders that work mortgage reps who worked in mortgage companies for years, and they didn't even know about filtering. They didn't even know. They were like, what do you mean by filtering? Well, they don't ask you questions like, are you married, single, how many years you lived at an apartment, or how many years you lived at your address, or how long you've been working at your job, how many children you have. They don't ask that just to be asking it. They have filtering processes worked into their algorithm to approve people for loans, and the lender, the lending rep, you don't need to know about that. They don't tell you about that. Just like when in one of the videos I made where the debt collection rep that I communicated with, he was like, well, they don't tell us about what you're telling people to watch out for when dealing with debt collectors. I'm like, they don't want to tell you that. That's not, you don't need to know that. When it comes to a mortgage uh, rep, you just need to do what we tell you to do. You fit our criteria. And if we say uh, the credit score that we give our internal scores, if someone is not married and we take off some points and you're like, well, your credit score is this, and this is your middle score, but this is the interest rate that we're offering you. And they don't tell you, they don't tell the rep, well, the reason why they gave you this interest rate and not this other person, this lower interest rate, because you're not married. You're a single mother with 3 kids. And when they rate the risk, they're saying that this has a certain risk level that a married couple with 3 kids don't have. That's just the facts. And they do it by area code to zip code. I don't care what they say, they do it by zip code. We just saw where they don't even, right in front of our faces with this Kia automobile, where they don't even, some insurance companies said, we are not going to renew insurances for people who own Kia. Like, we're not going to insure them anymore. So if they'll do that in front of your face, what do you think that they will do behind our backs? That's what I'm trying to get across to people. And what we control for the point of this video is not having something like this come back to bite us when we really need our credit to work in our favor. So dealing with judgments, you need to, if you got judgments, you need to deal with them. Start dealing with them now so you don't have to deal with it later. That's what you need to do. All right, if you have a situation with a judgment, you can reach out to us. Go to thecreditrepairshop.com in the live chat. Type out your situation. I'll be in there answering those, or someone from my staff. We will talk to you about it. If you need help with your credit, please go to my website, thecreditrepairshop.com. Watch the video, What Makes Us Different, so you can see my 8-point validation process with my 2-phase settlement process. If you need your credit reports and scores, go to the website, your3scores.com, to grab your TransUnion, Equifax, Experian credit reports and all 3 scores. If you have debt collectors coming after you, grab my 3-pack of letters, statute of limitations, cease and desist, collection activities letter, and debt validation letter. The instructions are right on there for those letters. Thank you for your time. Please subscribe to the channel, post your questions and comments. Please share this video. This is Stephen A. Williams, President and Founder.